You guys have been absolutely loving this brand new series of going back through the past Mario games and looking for every single enemy of a specific type, and we've made a video for the Bullet Bill, one showing off all the Piranha Plants ever. So today we're making another video showing off every single Boo in every single Mario game. Yes, we're going through all the games to show how Boo's appearance has changed over the years, and also to show the different types of Boos that we've gotten, because I guarantee you guys probably have forgotten some of them. I also made this an official playlist now, so go to the description down below and you guys can watch all the enemy videos until your heart's content. Also, we are trying to get to 20% of you guys subscribed watching this video, as lots of you watching it right now are not yet subbed. It's only going to take a second, guys. Thank you so much for supporting the content. Let's jump into the video. First, starting off on our spooky list, we have Mario Bros. 3's Boos, which actually reminds me of the Boos from Paper Mario Color Splash. They have this big white outline and kind of look papery to me for some reason. But this is the first time we actually see them, and they work the same way you could obviously expect all the way today, where they just follow you when you're not looking, but when you're looking, they'll hide their face. Next up, we have Stretch Boos, which also come from Mario Bros. 3, which sometimes they can have their own Boo platform where they move back and forth on the tops and bottoms, or sometimes they can move back and forth on, regular platforms as well, because they obviously return in games like Mario Maker where you can put them on any platform. For some reason, Mario World actually gives the Boos different personalities, as some are sticking their tongue out making weird faces, some are just chomping with their mouth, some have big cheeks puffed up. You'll also see the Boo Buddies, which is a ring of Boos that spin around in a circle, giving you a chance to jump into the gap in order to dodge them. The back sides of these Boos make them look more like ghosts compared to the single tail ones we see today. Also, I don't know if you would consider Eries to be Boos, but they're like little dinosaur ghosts that fly across the stage super quick. In Super Mario World, we see Big Boo, which I believe is just a cultivation of tons of the Boos joined together into one massive force, and it's one of the few times we'll actually see it change its appearance completely instead of just being a bigger version of the Boo. Yep, it has a slightly different look this time around, as it looks a lot creepier with its face. It has a little rash on its face when it's covering its eyes, and also it's more of a blue tint. In Super Mario Land 2, we have Ghost Goombas, which could be like Goomboos. We also have Boos as well that actually look very normal to the way they do nowadays. And of course, they function the same exact way as well. In the Mario All-Stars version of Mario Bros. 3, you'll notice the Boos are the exact same, but this time they leave a little Boo trail as they move, showing their faces as they're kind of flying towards you. It's the only little difference, but it is a little one that is worth noting. And the Stretch Boo is here in this game as well. Boos finally make the jump into 3D in Mario 64, and they're just the same pretty much design, but with big blue eyes this time around and more of a darker tone around their eyes. And Big Boo in this game is literally just a bigger version of the regular Boos from the game already. In the Versus game, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, they actually use the same Boos from Super Mario World, where they look more like ghosts than they do Boos. The Boos in Mario Sunshine is where we see a drastic change. They almost look like they're drunk or high or something, as the way they fly through the air with their tongues dangling out and drool flying everywhere. And their lazy looking eyes, they have a shell-like tail on them, which is really interesting. But it's probably because these Boos are most likely made by Bowser Jr.'s paintbrush, which gives them a completely different look all the way around. When you squirt the pink ones with water, they actually turn into block platforms that you can climb on. Then there's ones called Sleepy Boos, which are bigger and sleeping, and they also make this horrifying sound when Yoshi eats them. And then we technically have King Boo's second appearance, which is Super Mario Sunshine, giving us a wacky version of the character that we'll never see again. Once again, probably because this is a version created by Bowser Jr., but this one is also very wacky with his tongue hanging out and an evil smile the entire time, drooling everywhere he goes. When Mario defeats him, he gets a possessed look, flies around the room until he pops where purple goo comes out, once again maybe signifying that Bowser Jr. created him out of his goo from his paintbrush. Now we have Boos in Luigi's Mansion, and they all look pretty normal. They all look the same, but have different names that are based off of Boo puns, which is actually hilarious to me every time I play this game. But they form together to make the Big Boo, is where we actually see a different look for Big Boo once again, kind of reminiscing the look from Super Mario World, which I really like, giving him dark bags around his eyes and just making him look all around a lot creepier than just a big version of the normal Boo enemy. You also technically have Shy Goals in Luigi's Mansion, but they're technically Shy Guys, a ghost Shy Guy, so they're probably not necessarily a Boo, but I thought I'd bring them up. This is actually the first time we see King Boo, which has a completely different appearance from the mainline games where we see him return. In Luigi's Mansion, he's all white with a red jewel crown. and his eyes are a deep dark red pupil with black around them, and a blue/purplish tongue and a black pit of a mouth. It is a creepy looking Boo for sure, but it's a Boo that we don't get enough in my opinion. This to me is King Boo, not what we've been getting. Let's hop on the King Boo train while we're here, shall we? So King Boo also returns in Mario 64 DS, and this is where we see a new look for him. Yep, he just looks like a regular Boo, but bigger and has a crown now. And this is the main reason why a lot of people want the Luigi's Mansion version to be the main King Boo, because he at least has some flavor to him. However, in this game, King Boo's actually able to spit blue flames, which is something that we really don't see him do in any other game. King Boo appears in Super Princess Peach as a boss in the exact same way. He looks exactly the same and so does his crown, and all you gotta do is go around the room and light the torches as he slowly drifts towards you. Doesn't even look scary. King Boo returns in Mario Kart DS to steal your coins and fly away, but also holds the same exact appearance we've been seeing. King Boo appears as a boss in Mario Party 9, where it's an item shuffling minigame, but he looks exactly the same. Then we get our beloved King Boo back in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, where he once again has those dark pink eyes and that purplish blue mouth, and also the black around his eyes making him look even creepier. And he has that gem on his head once again, but this time the gem is not really red, it's more of a purple-violet glow. And he has tons of abilities in this game. The gem actually allows him to control things around him and move things around, make things bigger and smaller, and warp reality, which means he is a foe for sure. Then we go back to the normal version with Mario Party 10, which is just a big Boo with a crown again. King Boo appears in the game Puzzles and Dragons, where once again, he looks exactly the same. And in Mario & Luigi Paper Jam, King Boo is a boss battle where we once again see him spitting out those blue flames. I mean, it had to reappear here because as a boss battle in Mario & Luigi, they had to give him something. So this kind of actually makes sense and calls back to Mario 64 on the DS. In Paper Jam, you also have papercraft battles against the Boos and also a giant papercraft King Boo, which is pretty unique. Then we have Mario Party Star Rush, where guess what? He's back again, the same exact King Boo. We then had the remake of Luigi's Mansion 1 on a 3DS, which makes the colors pop more on King Boo. Instead of him being so opaque, he can actually see his eyes, his mouth, and his crown a lot better, and the colors are more saturated and clearer this time around. And the gem on the crown stays red instead of going back to purple like it did in Dark Moon. Luigi's Mansion 3's King Boo is actually an evolutionary step from Dark Moon, making his crown more realistic and the gem pop with more colors and shading, and his face is pretty much the same, but his eyes now have a crystallized design in them, which also makes me think that he's being controlled by the crystal the entire time. And he also uses his tongue a lot in this fight, kind of reminiscent of Super Mario Sunshine's King Boo. Oh yeah, and he's also able to duplicate himself into multiple copies and spit fireballs out. But King Boo still kicked on various different spin-offs. For instance, the Mario Kart games. Mario Kart Double Dash, King Boo was in the game and normally partnered up with PD Piranha. King Boo was also in Mario Kart Wii and made a grand return in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch. And Mario Kart Tour did some truly amazing things by giving us the Luigi's Mansion version in that game as well. It's just so unfortunate that he's not in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe right now, at least as an alt. There's also a gold regular King Boo variant with a silver crown in Mario Kart Tour as well, which once again is not in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which just, it sucks because it looks so good. And yes, that means the regular King Boo is in Mario Kart Tour as well. Oh yeah, and King Boo was actually a doctor in Dr. Mario World on the mobile game. I would say who let him become a doctor, but in this game, literally the babies are doctors. Alright, that's enough for King Boo for the time being. There might be another couple cameos that I'm missing, but for the most part, you get the general gist. Those are the King Boos. Now let's jump into Mario Pinball Land, where we still have Boos once again, which look pretty normal in this game, and we have the Big Boo returning, which Nintendo once again makes just a bigger version of Boo, which just doesn't have that much character in my opinion. Boo, of course, himself appears in Mario Kart as an item and looks pretty much how he's supposed to look depending on the time that the Mario Kart actually came out. I mean, he could look pretty weird. This is a Yoshi's Story Boo, which is weird, has a different shaped mouth, and its eyebrows is just one big loop-de-loop unibrow. And we also have the blind Boos. You can see them in Yoshi's Island as all orange with a green mouth and a black blindfold, and you can also see them in Yoshi's Story with a blue blindfold and some pink fake ears, I guess, which allows them to hear better because all they can do is hear you when you move. They can't see. Why do they choose to cover their eyes? I don't know. Are they actually blind? I don't know. We also have Boo Blahs from Yoshi's Island, which attach to the ceiling or to the floor, and they stretch out to scare you and hit you when you walk by. Now, it's unsure if these are actually Boos, but they do have the Boo name. Yoshi's Island, we also have the balloon boos where you have to hit with multiple different eggs in order to inflate it until it pops. And in Yoshi's Island, we have the bigger boo, which is literally just the bigger boo. It's a boo that's bigger, and it has that unibrow from Yoshi's story as well. You also have boo guys in Yoshi's Island, which once again, they're just ghost shy guys, kind of like Luigi's Mansion, but they are called boo guys, which means I kind of have to add them. In Paper Mario 64, we have tons of boos, including a boo character called Bootler. He is the butler, and he makes a terrifying face when he leaves as well for some reason. You have Lady Bo, which is a partner character that is a green boo with 2 red bows in her hair. She had hair, so literally just on her head. Her abilities is she likes to spook and also smack the absolute daylights out of an enemy. In Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, you have a light blue boo that runs a shop and for some reason is dressed like a Playboy bunny. If you're too young to understand what that means, good. That's it. I really do wonder if Nintendo keeps this design in the remake. You also have boos in this game, regular ones where their top lip looks like it's an overbite and they look slightly different with more Goomba-like eyebrows, but they can all form together to make a big boo as well, which is just, once again, a bigger version of them. And you also have the dark boo in this game, which are all purple with a blue mouth, kind of similar to King Boo from Luigi's Mansion, but they can give you a poison effect as well. And technically, you have the boss Dupless from Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. I just don't know if you would necessarily call that a boo. Who cares? I'm adding them. In Paper Mario Sticker Star, they look pretty normal for the most part. The only thing that's actually changed with them is that they can stack up with multiple different boos in a row, but that's about it. And there's a big boo in Sticker Star where you fight a giant crumbled up piece of paper with a boo face on it, which is actually super unique for some reason in my head. I just think it looked really cool. Paper Mario Color Splash also had boos. They just now have that new white outline that everyone seems to hate and more pointier hands than normal, but they're pretty much the same. In Paper Mario the Origami King, you actually have giant paper mache boos that you have to go behind in order to hit where there's a sticker blocking a weak point. Their face actually changes from a rotating sphere in the front, which is super funny. In Super Princess Peach, you also had mad boos, which are just crazy boos that actually charge at you if you look at them. Yeah, it's the opposite of a normal boo, and they'll actually not charge you if you just face the other way. There's also big mad boos, which do the exact same things, but yeah, these things just look creepy. They have that dark outline around their eyes and a pink/yellow glowy eye, very similar to King Boo from Luigi's Mansion, and they sparkle when you look at them. I guess these guys just want all the attention from Peach. Now, Yoshi's Island blue boos are actually called Boo Balloon, where in New Super Mario Bros. DS, these boos are called Balloon Boos, where they suck in air and then fly at you all puffed up. They have a little balloon tip at the end where their tail is. They also have big puffy cheeks with pink rosy cheeks as well, and also a slightly different face than normal boos. In Super Mario Galaxy, you have regular boos like Spooky the Ghost, who actually wants to race you and wears a helmet with a visor. You also have bomb boos, which are all black and actually chase after you, kind of like mad boos, where you can grab their tongues, spin them around the room, and detonate them like a bomb. And you somehow had Boo Mario in Mario Galaxy, but not in Super Mario Odyssey, which was just Mario as a boo. He even had like a little ghost mustache and his red hat on top, of course. You also had boos and a big boo in Super Mario Galaxy 2, and you had a tail boo from Mario 3D Land, which was pretty much just a tanuki tail slapped onto a regular boo. New Super Mario Bros. 2 actually introduced the Boohemoth, which is a giant creepy looking boo that follows you across the entire stage like a side scroller. If you look at it too long, it'll actually begin to move no matter what. It'll creep towards you a little bit, and yeah, it has his tongue hanging out, giant black around its eyes, including a new giant pupil in his eye, which looks definitely spooky and weird. He also has a top row of teeth, which is definitely new as well. Then we have Yoshi's Woolly World, which has frame boos, and you also have big frame boos, which is pretty much a metal wired frame that forms a boo, and when you throw a yarn ball at it, it'll actually turn into a yarn boo balloon, which is pretty cool, and float up into the air. New Super Mario Bros. U, of course, has boos, and also big ones as well, that work and look exactly like we know boos to work and look like. And we have Mario 3D World, which has boos and big boos as well, which look the same also. And thanks to Mario Maker, we can actually see what boos would look like in Mario Bros. 1, which is a little spooky. They have these big upper lips that kind of hang over, and also these weird different dotted eyes, which is definitely different than what we see in the other games. You can also make winged boos in Mario Maker as well. Let's jump back into Superstar Saga. We have some boos here. They look pretty normal, but just have more angry eyebrows, kind of reminiscing to Goombas. And in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, you have boos as well, but they have little bow ties on them also. Of course, you have boos in some of the later Mario & Luigi's that look the same, but you also have the Bomb Boo making return in Bowser Jr.'s Journey. You have Fish and Boos, which are like ghost Lakitus from Super Mario World. They also return in Super Mario Run, and you can see them in Super Princess Peach as well, where they'll have a little blue flame at the end of their fishing rod trying to hit you with it as they float above you. Boom and Bluff also return in Super Princess Peach as a horde of blindfolded boos that would rush towards Princess Peach from the side of a screen, which kind of just worked as a screen wipe on a 2D side-scroller section. Of course, with Mario Party, the boos will match their art style based on that era, but here's some screenshots of different boos from the Mario Party franchise, including some pink ones in Mario Party 5 and 6, and a wizard one in Mario Party 4. The Boo Guys return, but this time the Woolly Boo Guys from Yoshi's Woolly World, which are yarn themed, but once again, these might be more Shy Guys than Boos, but they do carry the Boo name. Of course, we have some sports games with Boo, like Mario Tennis for the Nintendo 64, where he looks rather interesting. He was a background character in Mario Tennis for the Game Boy, came back as a playable character in Mario Tennis Open, and made his triumphant return in Mario Tennis Aces. Boo was also there in most of the Mario Golf games for the most part as well. Of course, both the Mario Baseball games, Boo and King Boo were there also. Mario Strikers had Boo as well, as he wore a helmet over his whole body. Yes, Boo was even a hooper in Mario Hoops 3-on-3. We really need a new Mario basketball game. We also have the Boo Boogie, which was a remix of the Mario Bros. 2 theme that was actually put into a Mario dance game, where Mario was in a mansion dancing alongside some Boos that was around him. I just know if I left these enemies out, someone would say something. But what about the Peepas? Yes, Peepas are Boo-like ghosts that move a lot slower and in a different way than the Boos do. They don't actually follow you around, they just kind of move in a pack, and they have big black eyes with a white pupil and a little mouth with 2 little ghost teeth at the top. They return again in New Super Mario Bros. 2 to move platforms around, and in Mario 3D World as they move back and forth together. You can actually shine a light on them to make them disappear in this game. You'll also see them a couple times in the later games for the Mario Party series. And they appear in the background of Mario Tennis Aces. We still are not finished. This is actually Boo from the old Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and I believe they only appeared in 1 episode, but they were extremely creepy looking. They just looked like little white horror monsters with red eyes, and I think they also had like tape over certain parts of their body for some reason. Yeah, these things just used to creep me out as a kid. And in the Super Mario World show, they go back to that ghost blanket look from the classic games, and they don't really look like a Boo. You also have King Boo from the Mario movie, which to me just looks so weird. It almost just doesn't look real. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like he's not as opaque as he should be. Like he should be a lot more see-through, and he's also just, it just looks unfinished, like he was like last second added in. I don't know. I just cannot stand looking at him in the movie. Also, don't forget you have Lego Boo and Lego Peepa and a Lego King Boo as well, which are just cubes pretty much. Did you also know you had Mario enemies in The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, such as Boos as well? They were kind of like yellowish with green hands, which were definitely different with one giant unibrow. I'm sure there's some other references within other games, but the only real one I could think of was Sonic Adventure 2, which literally has an enemy called Boo, which looks like a Boo but with metal teeth and creepier eyes and fingers on his hands. I mean, that's literally a Boo. But you have Boo, you have Boom Boo, which is bigger and kind of like a creepy doll with yarn covering its mouth. You also have King Boom Boo with a giant rainbow tongue and rainbow pupils in its eyes, and it's just one of the creepiest bosses ever because of the scream and cry it lets out as it chases Knuckles throughout this boss battle. Like seriously, it also always creeped me out as a kid. Like, how in the world was this a kid's game? Of course, the last one we have today is Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which gives us the Boos back in a new design that's kind of reminiscent of the past ones, as it has a new upper lip type of thing, which I actually enjoyed. It gives them a little bit more of a personality than they've always had. That was every single Boo that's ever appeared in Mario. Let me know if I missed any that you guys have noticed, and also let me know what your favorite Boo design was and from what game did it appear. Thank you so much for tuning in, and comment down below what enemy you want to see next. Now, lots of the inspiration from these videos comes straight from Mario Wonder, seeing the new enemies, and I like to compare them with how far they have come, but it has come to my attention that some of these videos have already been started by a YouTuber named Carlito, so go check out their Goomba video and also their Shy Guy one, as long as the rest of their videos that they do, as they make videos very similar to this. And since they've already covered the Goombas and the Shy Guys, definitely go check them out there, because odds are I'm not doing them again unless like there was a lot missing, but go check them out. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario Wonder and all Mario enemies and Mario in general, and I will see you all on the next one. See you guys.